10, 10 reasons I oppose Donald Trump. 10 reasons why I oppose Donald Trump. I'm Bernie Bro, and I shall explain this to the best of my ability using the social democratic way. There are some people who think that I am soft on my criticism against Donald Trump just because I don't join the Trump derangement syndrome brigade. That doesn't mean that I'm some sort of secret fan of Donald Trump. Not at all. Well, they have accused the amazing atheist, Shoe on Head, and even Jimmy Dore of being secretly fond of President Donald Trump, which is weird for Jimmy Dore because Jimmy Dore is significantly further left than I am. As a lifelong leftist, there's no way on God's green earth that I could be any type of fan of a man whose politics goes against most of my core convictions and beliefs. Although I do make it known whenever those on the liberal left try to rehabilitate George W. Bush to just to put a dig at Donald Trump. I make it clear with no apology, stating that the Bush and Cheney years were some of the darkest political years for myself and, in my opinion, the United States. The list can go very long for all the problems that existed from the George W. Bush presidency that contribute to the mess that we're in today. Although I have reservations to even challenge such accusations, I guess I must set the record straight. And I'm going to basically give you my 10 reasons that I oppose Donald Trump. 10 basic reasons. There are more reasons than just merely 10 reasons, but I think that stating 10 solid reasons should put anybody's mind to rest on this ridiculous assertion that some people have made. So I'm going to start with number one. While I'm not a fan of the Democratic Party, I'm sure as hell not a Republican. Yeah, I do have problems um, with both parties. But when it comes to individuals, I'm not going to give a shit if I have friends or family members or coworkers or people at church or someone I date or whatever being a Republican. That's that's asinine and that's petty. I don't respect that kind of partisanship. Whenever I don't care which side's doing it, if it's a Democrat doing that against a Republican, Republican doing it against a Democrat, that's just not something I respect in an individual. People are people at the end of the day. The problem I have with the Republican Party, however, is their basic ideology of the party itself, not individuals, but the party itself. So that's a starter right there. And let me specify or give you my problems with the Republican Party. I call it the unholy trinity of former segregationist, former Jim Crow Southern strategy that basically Southernized the Republican Party when a lot of Jim Crow Democrats were tired of the Democratic Party's commitment to racial equality. A lot of these people went into the Republican Party. And some people have challenged me, said, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit." No, it's not bullshit. You take a look at figures like Jesse Helms and Strom Thurmond, you'll see what I mean. Um, I have problems with the religious right. Yeah, I criticize a lot of the countries in the West for introducing Sharia law in the name of tolerance, and I've been called an Islamophobe for that. I've been called an anti-Christian by religious political types, Christian conservatives, because I don't believe that Christian activists ought to be dictating over social policy in the United States. And so my opposition to Sharia law in Western Europe and my opposition to the religious right here in the United States is about the same. And my problem with the Republican Party is their pandering to the Christian right. And then, of course, the neoconservatives, the former Trotskyites, almost a century back, that evolved into conservatives, quote unquote, during the dawning of the Reagan Revolution in 81. And these people took over the Republican Party and have not ever encountered a war that they were not in favor of. And they have convinced a lot of regular Republicans to embrace their politics, neoconservatism. So the Jim Crow mindset, the Christian right, and the neoconservatives. That's why I would never be a Republican. And that's the same party of Donald Trump. I don't care. He uses the fake populism to discredit those people. He's been he's a neocon at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And speaking of neocons, and this is point number two, I'm not a fan of any president who wants to topple the government of Venezuela or Iran. Yes, I am critical of Iran. I am critical of Venezuela. They do shit I don't like in those countries. But you know what? I also oppose the neoconservative mindset that I was talking about of trying to engage in regime change. Because every time we engage in regime change, we get negative consequences as a result, a lot of unintended consequences. And we need to stop in this country listening to the neocons. And Donald Trump claimed he wasn't one, but he put a piece of shit like John Bolton, who is a war criminal in his administration. Yeah, he did fire him. Good for him on that. But why the fuck did he have John Bolton? That's not draining the swamp. And to have Mike Pompeo and Gene Haskell of the CIA. These are the worst people in the United States, as far as I'm concerned. And Donald Trump put these people in power. You think I'm going to like that? I didn't like it when Bush was doing it. I'm not going to, certainly not going to dislike it any less if Donald Trump is doing it. Point number three, and I was talking about what's wrong with the Republican Party, and that's the Christian right. And any politician today being endorsed by John Hagee or Pat Robertson or name whatever other TV preacher out there that preaches intolerance, corporatism, and neoconservative wars, you can count me out as far as being any way sympathetic. So don't. Good Lord, I mean, the Christian right, they lost the battle against against trying to stop the rights of gay people from having basic equality, but there's still a problem because they're in bed with secular neocons wanting to have a war with Iran. No way, no way. I want to enable that kind of attitude. Number five, any president or any politician who wants to impose a national right to work law to destroy what remaining unions we have in the public or private sector, it's not only not an ally of mine, it's a profound enemy of mine. Donald Trump thinks we're paid way too much money. Ordinary Americans are paid way too much. He said that when he was campaigning. And he says that unions are destroying the country. And he's going to sit there and partner with Mitch McConnell, one of the worst people, one of the worst elected politicians in the country, who wants to destroy blue states, to destroy their pension plans, and even in his home state of Kentucky, he just wants public sector employees to suffer. You think I'm going to support a president that support that kind of agenda? You don't know me very well. When Donald Trump gave his State of the Union address and awarded Rush Limbaugh the presidential Medal of Honor for freedom. Do you know how much that pissed me off? Fucking Rush Limbaugh, an authoritarian piece of shit that he is. The partisan, vicious asshole that he is. And it gives that man a Presidential Medal of Honor. Rush Limbaugh, who thinks that casual drug users ought to be put in boot camps. He used to argue for that during the George Herbert Walker Bush years. He is pro censorship, pro neocon wars, and he will sit there and just vomit Republican talking points that's directed by him by the Republican National Committee. Presidential Medal of Honor for freedom, my asshole. That offended me. But oh no, all these people claiming, well, Nancy Pelosi tearing up his speech. You know what? I would have been more impressed if Nancy Pelosi would have tore up the military budget that's way overbloated. But then again, those same Democrats, the ones who call themselves the resistance, they'll sit there, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer calling Donald Trump an asshole in public, but they go and vote to give him more money to bloat up the military budget more than it already is. We spend way too much in our military, and then to go and give him more power to surveillance us by renewing the Patriot Act and voting for his fucking judges. Really? You think I'm a fan of that? And any president who supports torture, supports the death penalty, getting rid of internet privacy rights, and in particular, imposing harm on the First Amendment. Donald Trump wants to harmonize libel laws against public figures the way it's done in the UK. So that means that any journalist or even a little schmuck like me on this YouTube channel that goes around and criticizes Donald Trump, I could be sued. I believe in the First Amendment and absolute support for the First Amendment. My only problem with the First Amendment, it isn't free enough. I am, just short of shouting fire in a theater. I am 100% a First Amendment absolutist, more so than the right wing talking heads on the media that beat their chest like there's some kind of fucking alpha males saying, "We're for freedom of speech, and you liberals are a bunch of snowflakes. You just want to take away our rights of speech." What these right-wing ideologues are in favor of is their own freedom of speech, not the freedom of speech of those they disagree with. And yeah, there are some people on the left that think censorship all of a sudden is okay. They're wrong. They are wrong. Well, let's see. Here's a doozy for you. Point number 8. Any politician that would say that there were fine people on both sides. You remember Charlottesville, the Unite the Right rally that took place, where the person got killed, ran over with a vehicle, and these pricks, these right wing assholes, now they had a right to be there and have the rally itself, because as I said, I'm a First Amendment absolutist, but they didn't have a right to harm people, and they were there to antagonize. They were there to antagonize, and with the weapons and all of that, and walking around with the weapons and all that. They were out there. They were wanting a fight to make themselves look like victims. They're not fucking victims. But Donald Trump saying that there were fine people on both sides. There is nothing fine about being alt-right. There's nothing fine about being a racist asshole. There's nothing fine about that. Now, I don't want to police people's thoughts. If you want to be a racist piece of shit, and if you're not harming anybody, go for it. It's your loss. But at the same time, that was a fucking dog whistle. That really fucking dog whistle. And to let them know. And honestly, I don't necessarily think Donald Trump is a racist per se, and I'm going to get a lot of trouble with people on the left saying that. But I do think he does what a lot of Republicans tend to do: play around with it, use code words, insinuate, and by doing that, um, he knows he's getting the racist votes. And even Republicans who claim that they're not racist, and honestly, I think most Republicans are not racist. Believe it or not, I don't. Um, if it means getting elected, they'll let it. It may even bother their conscience, but they'll do what it takes to maintain their power. Um, Point number 9, and this is so obvious from my perspective. If you're an opponent of Medicare for all, you're an opponent of single payer. I don't care what freaking political party you belong to. If you're an opponent of Medicare for all, you're not getting my vote. And Donald Trump is opposed to Medicare for all, just like all the Republicans are opposed to Medicare for all. And unfortunately, and sadly, far too many Democrats are opposed to Medicare for all. And let me tell you, any politician who uses fake populism to get themselves reelected and then govern like an establishment asshole. I mean, why would I like that? Donald Trump campaigned as a false progressive, false populist. Sorry, false populist. In some areas, he even out left Hillary Clinton with the anti-war rhetoric. Would have been nice if he would have maintained that and not gotten us into some of these some more of the military adventurism abroad. But the neocons pulls his string. He preached a populist message, almost trying to appeal to people who would be inclined to support Bernie Sanders. But hey, once he was in, he loaded up loaded up his administration with Goldman Sachs types. Stephen Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, people like that. You think I'm going to support people like Larry Kudlow and Stephen Mnuchin? That's asinine. So I'm giving you basically my 10 reasons why I would never, ever, ever support Donald Trump. And I can make a case that a vote for Joe Biden is still a vote for Donald Trump in many ways. So that's my point, and I want to put it to rest. And it's frankly kind of insulting if anybody ever thought that for a second, sincerely thought that about me. Let me reassure you. And not that I care. There's a part of me that doesn't care, and I call it like I see it. But I am a little bothered that some people would think that for a second, because I have spent a lifetime working, fighting for an America which is social democratic. Donald Trump ain't no social democrat in any conceivable sense of the or definition of that term. I just wanted to set the record straight. If you like what you heard, thumbs up. If you kind of disagree with what I have to say, thumbs down. But tell your friends about this channel. Tell everybody about this channel, and you subscribe and urge other people to subscribe as well. Because I'm Bernie Bro, and I'm all about telling you about the social democratic way. Peace.